You are able to see the slide. Okay, so now features of good research. So we are talking about research, right? So how to ensure the research is a good research? So research can be good research or not good research. So when there is quality in the research that you do, it is called as good research. If there is no quality in the research, then it is not a good research. So how to ensure that you do a quality oriented research? So you need to have some of these aspects in that, so that you do a good research. So first one is the purpose should be clearly defined. Purpose of the research. So first you should know why you are doing this research. What is the purpose of the research? Right. So in the specific sense, you should be very clear about the objectives of the research. Objectives is nothing but the purpose. So you have to very clearly define the objectives of the research. Objectives of the research is related to the topic. Which topic, which is the area of research that you are going to do. So the very first step is identification of your research area or the topic. So how to come to know about what is should be the topic? So it is your interest. You are interested to find what? You are interested to find, do research in which area? That is your interest. So broadly, we are talking about management, we are talking about business, and in management and business, we have different streams, like say HR, human resource, finance, marketing. So in that, which is your area? In that further, there is so many different areas are there, right? Say if you're talking human resource, my interest area is human resource, then I have, I can study on the work environment, I can study on the employee stress management, I can study on, employee productivity, I can do a study on, work-life balance. Like that, I can study on employee turnover, I can do a study on training, employee training. So like that, there is thousands and thousands of different areas where you can do research within that. So that you should know. So how you come to know about that? That you have to do a literature review. So now I have told some topics in the area of some area. I am not told the topics. I just touched upon some of the areas in HR what is possible. Right, like that finance also, so many different areas are there. Marketing also different areas are there. So it depends on your interest, where you want to do your research. Or if it is in the organization, there it is not interest. In the organization, if they are doing research, it is to solve some problems there. Right? Business will be facing some problems. Or the society. So we are talking about research in general, the society. Now it is, pandemic is happening, so a lot of research is going on that. Why? To solve that issues, to solve that problem, right? So like that. So every day there is some new thing that is coming up. So there was something called as black fungus. Now today, if you are reading newspaper, there is something called as white fungus also. So white fungus, that is something related to this pandemic, COVID-19. So people are telling there is something white fungus is there. So there will be some research going on that, and how it can be cured and so on. So there, in the other than the academic purpose, research when it is done to solve some problems, to get some solution. And different objectives, we know that why research is done. We have discussed about it in the beginning, right? So whatever it is, you should be very clear about the objectives of the research or the purpose of the research. So you are going to define the objectives. Objective 1, 2, 3, 4. If you remember, we had done a research, right? There we have defined the objectives. to study the consumer profile of Samsung mobile, to study the consumer satisfaction of Samsung mobile users, to study the customer loyalty of Samsung users. Right. So these are the objectives. Purpose is very clearly defined. So how do you know this should be the objective? That is related to your topic. So we had a topic saying that a consumer research on some product, right? So based on this, you have going to define the objectives. So for that, actually what you are supposed to do, once you know which area you are going to do, you should do a literature survey in that particular area. So I said consumer research on mobile phones, then actually you are supposed to do Google Scholar research. So it is, don't think that literature review is done only through Google Scholar. No, that is only one source. Okay. So as I said, there are some other sources also. Online sources are there. Say I said ProQuest is there in the area of management, right? Emerald is there in the area of management. For other engineering branches, there are other online search is there, or libraries are there, or books are there, journals are there, hard copies are there. Okay, from there you have to refer these things. But now because of digital, it has become convenient. So this one, Google Scholar is very convenient. It is free of cost, where you can search. That's why I have told you to do it in Google Scholar. Okay. Shodh Ganga is another online resource where you get lot of theses and reports and articles. Okay. So like that, there are so many other online resources are there where you can do a literature survey. So by doing literature survey on that particular area, you come to know what should be the objectives of the research. That is one way. Another is by discussing with your colleagues, experts, guides, you will frame the objectives of the research. The purpose should be clearly defined. Then the next is the research procedure to be described clearly. How you are going to do this research? Nothing but the research design that you are going to come up with should be very clear. What is the research problem? Define it. How and what data is required for this research? Whether primary data you are going to collect, what are the different secondary data that you are going to collect, what are the different sources of secondary data, how you are going to collect the primary data, what instrument that you are going to use, or what technique you are going to use to collect the secondary data, how you are going to analyze the data, what statistical tools that you are going to use to analyze the data, what is the hypothesis, how you are going to test the hypothesis, how you are going to present the results. So all these things has to be very clearly described before you do the research. So research procedure to be described very clearly. So yesterday we were discussing about research procedure, process of research, right? So there are 11 different steps we had to. All this should be very clear in the beginning itself, right? So that is about the planning. Carefully planned and executed. So that planning is necessary and it should be executed accordingly. After that, you are not going to change. So this we are talking about the structured research. Structured research, structured. So you have structured it. So I am going to collect this type of data. This is how I am going to collect. This is my sample size, right? So this is how determine the sample size. This is how I am going to collect the data. This is how I am going to analyze the data. Same way you are going to do. That is why it is called as structured. And complete frankness in the findings and analysis. Say data you are collecting. So there, data collecting, data analyzing, data presenting. So in all these steps, there should be complete frankness. There should not be any biasness, bias. Something you are own, you like something, so you are doing something. So what happens in the organization? Say maybe that whether say something like say whether a company has to come with some new product or not. So there may be some people, employees, which for them, I'm just telling an example. If the company comes with a new product, it is good for them. Some way, personal benefit is there. Whether there may be some increment in their salary or some other benefits they may get. So like that. So such people should not favor the research, and they should not give a biased information in the research saying that it is profitable to start a new product or new business. I hope you are trying to you are understanding what I'm saying. So whatever you are presenting in the data, the findings, the data collection method, whatever it is, that should be based on the facts. The analysis, the findings should be based on the facts that you have collected, and there should be, you should collect the information correctly without any bias. So for going to respondents, it should not be that you are going and meeting the respondents whom you find friendly. Got it? So if you are doing that, then it is a bias. You are not collecting from everybody, representative sample. So that is what we are going to talk in the sampling technique. So we will see that. So complete frankness in selecting the respondents also. Complete frankness in analyzing the data and presenting the data. Right, so that should be there. Then it is a good research. Analysis of data should be sufficiently adequate. So you should collect the data which should be sufficient. It should not be that you, because you are bored or you don't have that much time to collect, so you restrict your data collection, maybe for few respondents. So you should collect for the correct sample size which is determined. Sufficient sample size should be identified, and data should be collected from that number. Okay. So, and whatever according to the objectives, you have to collect the data. You should not miss any data collection. So that way it should be sufficient and adequate. Validity and reliability of data to be checked. Validity of the data. Say you are doing research and you are dependent on secondary data which is already collected. So you are doing a research now on some topic. Okay. Say customer loyalty you are doing. So if you are taking a data which is 10 years old data, can you analyze it for current time period? No, it is not valid. It is outdated, long. I'm talking about secondary data. Okay, so you can do secondary data analysis also in this search. So if you are collecting outdated information, so that is not valid for now. But literature review you can collect old. Any old is okay, but recent one also you should collect. Okay. There it is to analyze as how you are supposed to do the research, what should be the objectives of research. So that and all you are going to learn from literature review. So 10 years old also you can collect. But totally depending on 10-year-old literature also is not good. So recent you have to collect. But otherwise your main source of data is secondary sources, then you should collect the latest data. So validity of data. Then reliability. So collecting the data from the reliable source is very important. So you are collecting, when I said about literature review, I did not talk about Google search. You remember? Google search, if you search, what will happen? It will give all the information that is available in the net. But I said you have to search in Google Scholar. So there you find only scholarly articles. Scholarly articles means which is published in journals, reputed journals. So who can publish in reputed journals? Only people who are qualified, experienced, who are having certain knowledge in that particular area only can do that. Anybody and everybody cannot publish. But in internet, anybody can, everybody in any website, anything they can put, is it not? So that's why I did not tell you go and search in Google. I told you to search article in Google Scholar only. So that means it is reliable. So it is not about literature review only, reliability. It depends on any data that you are collecting. Secondary data. Suppose you want to analyze the balance sheet of a company. You want to do ratio analysis. Okay, P&G company, and you want to do the Procter and Gamble company. You want to analyze the ratios. You want to find out the financial performance of that company. So where will you go and get the balance sheet? If you just search in Google search for balance sheet, profit and loss account, any website will give any balance sheet of any fake or something. You don't know, but you have to go to some reliable source. Say you can go to moneycontrol.com. Okay, so which is considered as a more reliable source of information. There you will get all public limited companies balance sheet, profit and loss account for so many years. You will get it. Okay, so internship you are going to do. So where you are supposed to collect profit and loss account and balance sheet of companies. So that time this knowledge will help you. Where you have to go and search. Say moneycontrol.com. It's an authorized, reliable, okay, website which provides information on finance, stock markets, investments. So like that. So you have to ensure that you are collecting data from a reliable source, right? Reliability. That is, reliability means you can depend upon. Okay, so like that. So validity and reliability of data should be checked. That should be ensured by the researcher. Then experience and integrity of the researcher. Experience means the person who is doing the research should be having sufficient experience. So his expertise will be reflected in the quality of the research. So if the person is not experienced, so then he has to take the assistance of the people who already know. But there will be some guide, experts who will be helping them. So you have to take the help from them, learn and do research. So experience matters, knowledge matters in doing research. Integrity. Integrity means being truthful while doing the research. So that is very important. So like that. So when you ensure that all these aspects are there in your research, then it becomes a good quality research.